Harry was very cold by now, not to mention hungry. I can't stand much more of this, Ron muttered, his teeth clattering as the orchestra ground back into action and the ghost swept back into the dance floor. Let's go, Harry agreed. They backed towards the door, nodding and beaming at anyone who looked at them. And a minute later, they were hurrying back up the passageway full of black candles. Hey, that's mean. Poor nearly headless Nick. Pudding might not be finished yet, said Ron hopefully, leading the way towards the steps of the entrance hall. And then Harry heard it. Rip, tear, kill. It was the same voice, the same cold, murderous voice he heard in Lockhart's office. He stumbled to a halt, clutching at the stone wall, listening with all of his might, looking around, squinting up and down the dimly lit passageway. Harry, what are you? It's the voice again. Shut up a minute. So hungry. For so long. Listen, Harry said urgently as Ron and Hermione froze, watching him. Kill. Time to kill. The voice was growing fainter. Harry was sure it was moving away, moving upwards. A mixture of fear and excitement gripped him as he stared at the dark ceiling. How could it be moving upward? Was it a phantom? Was it a phantom to whom some ceilings didn't matter? This way, he shouted as he began to run up the stairs into the entrance hall. It was no good hoping to hear anything here. The babble of talk from the Halloween feast was echoing out of the great hall. Harry sprinted up the marble staircase to the first floor, Ron and Hermione clattering behind him. Harry, what are we? Shh! Harry strained his ears. Distantly from the floor above, and growing fainter still, he heard the voice. I smell blood. I smell blood! His stomach lurched. It's going to kill someone, he shouted, ignoring Ron's and Hermione's bewildered faces. It said it smelled blood, not... Well, I guess you can smell inside a human body, maybe? But I don't think this one did. He shouted, and ignoring Ron and Hermione's bewildered face, he ran up to the next flight of stairs, 3 at a time, trying to listen over his own pounding footsteps. Harry hurtled around the whole of the second floor, Ron and Hermione panting behind him, not stopping until they turned a corner into the last deserted passage. Harry, what was all that about? Said Ron, wiping sweat off his face. I couldn't hear anything. But Hermione gave a sudden gasp, pointing down the corridor. Look! Something was shining up the wall ahead as they approached slowly, squinting through the darkness. Foot-high words had been dubbed on the wall between 2 windows, shimmering in the light cast by flaming torches. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware. What is that thing? Hanging underneath, said Ron, a slight quiver in his voice. As they edged nearer, Harry almost slipped. There was a large puddle of water on the floor. Ron and Hermione grabbed him as they inched towards the message, eyes fixed on the dark shadow beneath it. All 3 of them realized what it was at once and leapt backwards with a splash. Miss Norris, the caretaker's cat, was hanging by her tail from the torch basket. He was stiff as a board, her eyes wide and staring. For a few seconds they didn't move. Then Ron said, Let's get out of here. Shouldn't we try to help? Harry began awkwardly. Trust me, said Ron. We don't want to be found here. But it was too late. A rumble as though distant thunder told them that the feast had just ended. From either end of the corridor where they stood came the sound of hundreds of feet climbing the stairs, and the loud, happy talk of well-fed people. Next moment, students were crashing into the passage from both ends. The clatter, the bustle, the noise died suddenly as the people in front spotted the hanging cat. Harry, Ron, and Hermione stood alone in the middle of the corridor, and silence fell among the mass of students, pressing forward to see the grisly sight. Then someone shouted through the quiet, Enemies of the air, beware! You'll be next, mudbloods. It was Draco Malfoy. He had pushed into the front of the crowd, his cold eyes alive, his usual bloodless face flushed as he grinned at the sight of the hanging, immobile cat.